In this video, we're going to talk about how to find the difference of squares. This is another method of factoring that has to do with perfect squares. The first thing you need to do is think of what the coefficient and constants are perfect squares of. And then these will always be in the format of a squared minus b squared, which breaks down into a minus b times a plus b. So if we look at number 2 here, we have y to the 4th power minus 81. Well, that one's already a little strange because we have 4th power, and I thought we were dealing with squares. But I know that the square root of 4 is 2. So if I just said that a is y squared, well, if I square that, that's going to give me y to the 4th. So again, that's what it would be like. So that's how I know I can break down this y to the 4th into a y squared. And the 81, well, the square root of 81 is 9, so b is going to be 9. That way, if I square it back, I get 81. So I write down my a, then hopefully a squared is going to be what you should already get in your original equation. So these should be in the original equation. And then the a and the b is what you're going to use for the factored part. And what you're going to do from there is just follow this formula of a minus b times a plus b. Well, a is y squared, b is 9, so I have minus 9. And then write it again, but this time I add 9. And if we go back through and check this, we should get y to the 4th minus 81. So I'll multiply it. Y squared times y squared gives me y to the 4th. Y squared times 9 is a positive 9y squared. Minus 9y squared. Minus 81. That goes away, so I get y to the 4th minus 81, which is what we had. So this is my equivalent factored form. Alright, we'll try one more, and then I want you guys to do the rest on your own. So we're going to try number 6 here, which is 7x to the 4th again, minus 28y to the 4th. So this one's a little harder because I have a couple things to the 4th, but like we talked about in number 2, I know that something to the 4th is just 2 squared. First, what I want to do though is take out what's common, because if I look at this, I see that there's a 7 here and a 28 here. I know that 28 has a factor of 7, so I'm going to pull that 7 out right away first. So I'm left with x to the 4th minus 4y to the 4th. And then I'll just carry that 7 around as I factor. But first I need to focus on this right here. My first part, x to the 4th, I know that that's just x squared. And so then if I square that, hopefully that gives me x to the 4th, which it does. This b part, the second part's a little trickier because I have this 4 out front. But I know 4 is a perfect square of the number 2. And then this y to the 4th part, again, that's a perfect square of 2y squared. So then if I square that back, 2 squared gives me 4, and y squared gives me y to the 4th. So that matches my original. And again, then, a squared and the b squared match my original. So then a and b are what I'm going to use in my formula of a minus b times a plus b. So again, I pulled this 7 out. The reason I pulled the 7 out is because I don't want to have to deal with this imperfect number, because it's not a perfect square anyways. So if it's not a perfect square and that's not a perfect square, I need to take it out so that I can get perfect squares like this. Otherwise, this difference of squares doesn't even work. So I need to make sure I always have perfect squares. Again, I'm still just going to tack that 7 around, so that's 7 on the outside, and now I follow my formula of a minus b. A is x squared minus 2y squared for b, and then x squared plus 2y squared over here. Again, if I want to check it, I can multiply. I'm just going to leave the 7 out. I'm going to multiply what's on the inside here. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. X squared times 2y squared is positive 2x squared y squared. negative 2y squared x squared is negative 2y squared x squared. And this times this gives me negative 4y to the fourth. Well, I know that goes away. And if I multiply this 7 back through, I get 7x to the fourth. And this 7 times this guy over here is negative 28y to the fourth. So that checks out. So what we had right here is indeed our equivalent factored form. So I want you guys to try the rest now.